What's up, enthusiasts? Today we're going to go over a few of the ideas left on the first scenario video and go over the merits and possible flaws of those ideas. I want to start off though by saying thank you for all of the responses. There were so many more than I expected. I had a lot of fun reading through all of them. Now for the sake of time though, I picked 3 of the responses to go over. Now remember, there's really no wrong or right answers for these scenarios. It's all subjective, and that's the fun. Our first answer is from Will Reiner, and he says, great idea for a video. I'm looking forward to the follow-up video because this is indeed a puzzle. 1 good guy versus 4 bad guys. Not the easiest scenario to navigate. I believe that any risks that the green player makes will be greatly magnified and not be worth it. But if they play it too safe, the other team will just easily take the point away. My instinct is to simply remain in a covered position behind the bridge/wall and attempt to suppress the opposing team by spamming darts in the direction of those 3 enemies to the right-hand side of the screen. Ignore the rapid strike until he actually advances on the point and just attempt to pick off any players that make a run for the midpoint control timer, as they will be fully exposed to your covered position. And that's the key, don't panic. And remember that you actually have an advantage because you're covered position. Hopefully, my 2 teammates from the left point will see what's happening and attempt to help, eventually, suppressing the rapid strike's movements. Will highlights the first choice you need to make instantly in this scenario. Do you play for the risks or do you play safer? In situations like this, you generally need to pick one or the other because if you try to go half and half, it will generally backfire on you. I like his idea of staying behind cover and playing for suppression rather than outright tags. When you get in the mindset of I need to get tags, then you can find yourself overextending to try and finish those tags and getting punished for it. The plan of suppression is good because it slows the enemy team down, and that's key in this situation. The downside for this style is that there's a good chance the other team will take the point, so rather than defending it, you're trying to buy time or set things up as best you can for a retake. One last comment on this is Will says not to panic, and that's definitely important. Panic in situations like this will generally result in you making a mistake because you didn't think your decisions through properly. Next up, we have Asian Tricks, who says, how long have we had center? I may give up center and fall back to regroup with my team and retake the right point with 4 players. It's obvious the other team is hard pushing for center, so the right point should be easy to retake. It's also easier to defend and hold. Left point has 2 defenders and will be fine for a good enough amount of time. If it is attacked, 2 or 3 can be spared from the right point to retake center and establish bubble control of the right entries. Either way, 2 of 3 points are controlled. There is no reason to overextend trying to hold all 3 points. I chose this one because Trix asked a good question. How long have we had the center point? In a game with 3 points, the middle is often the most contested and can become a win or lose objective. However, if we've had the point for a long time, sometimes it can be worth it to just relinquish that point to allow your team to regroup, rather than continually throwing bodies at it piecemeal, resulting in them controlling it for even longer. They also bring up a point worth considering, that if the other team is heavily investing in that middle point, then hitting the point they've left with low defenses is worth considering. The downside to this is, of course, there's always a chance that you won't be able to retake either point, whether it's because of good rotating by the opposing team or amazing tags or any number of things. It's always a risk that you have to consider. Our third comment is from Harrison Tedder, I hope I pronounced that right, who said, just YOLO, man, really. As funny as this may sound, it's not the worst idea you could have. This goes back to the idea of picking a plan and going for it. It's totally possible that you could get 4 crazy good tags to stop the rush. It might not be likely, but it's possible. And if you get tagged out, you'll likely get tagged out quickly, so you can respawn sooner, rather than trying to survive longer only to be tagged out right before your team shows up to help. The obvious downside to this is that the odds are you'll be tagged out quickly and the other team will take control of the point and have time to set up a defense for that point. It all comes down to preference and what you perceive is the most important thing for your team at that moment, whether it's holding that point as long as possible or staying alive to support your team when they respawn. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank everyone again for their comments. I love reading all of them and seeing the different points of view. Don't be afraid to comment on each other's ideas as well. I like seeing discussions pop up because they often lead to more ideas. I hope you enjoyed this first situation room. There should be another scenario coming your way in a couple weeks. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have fun flinging foam, and I'll see you next time.